Welcome to Running Hot, Action Network's motorsports betting podcast. I'm your host, Nick Giffen, predictive analyst here at Action Network. And joining me once again, my co-host, Stephen Young of Roto Grinders, better known as Stevie TPFL. And this week, we're previewing the Bank of America Roval 400 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval here on Running Hot. Last weekend at Kansas, Chase Elliott restarted from the fifth row on a green-white checkered flag finish, but after the front five Toyotas were battling each other a little too hard, that ended up costing them all the win as Denny Hamlin got into teammate, or I should say the car he owns, Bubba Wallace, driving that 2311 car, getting him up into the wall there. Denny had to come back down, couldn't hold off Chase Elliott. And so Chase Elliott beats Denny Hamlin and then Christopher Bell to the line, who battled with Bubba Wallace on the first lap of the green-white checkered there. So just a lot of Toyota on Toyota crime to end that race there, Stevie, allowing Chase Elliott to win. What do you think?
I mean, I had bets on Hamlin and Bell, but I also had Chase Elliott over 1.5 wins on the season. So, I would have made more money had Bell or Hamlin won the race. So I was rooting for them. Yeah. I mean, okay, Bubba ran Bell up the racetrack twice. Denny ran Bubba up the racetrack. Chase Elliott doored Denny. It was all no one. I don't think anyone could be mad. Yeah, everybody in the moment could be mad, but all of those moves, I feel like, were racing, going for the win, playoff drivers. I mean, from the outside looking in, Toyota, if anybody, the manufacturer, Toyota, should be like, man, we probably should have won that race over Chevy. But, I mean, Bubba could be mad at Denny. Denny could be mad. I don't even think Denny could be mad at Chase when I watch the replay. But no. Bell could be mad at Bubba. I mean, I think the person that wanted that win more than anybody was probably Bubba because of where he's at points-wise. But I think it's more of Toyota kind of let that one slip away. I thought Hamlin had the best car all day. He lost power steering with 50, 60 laps to go. And that kind of changed how he was able to approach the race. But overall, Kansas doesn't disappoint. I mean, we saw multiple grooves. We saw a lot of passing. We saw a little bit more tire fall off with this new right side tire. So Kansas just continues to be one of the best racetracks that we have on the schedule right now with this current car.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I will say though, if you're Denny Hamlin, knowing you would have finished second to Bubba Wallace,
you're so or knowing points,
or knowing you would have finished second to Chase Elliott, which would you rather have taken?
Oh, I know, no doubt. I don't think Denny purposely tried to drive Bubba up the racetrack.
No.
But you just got to put that in perspective. You're plus 50, plus 48 or something like that. You get your car in and no one's mad. No one's mad.
Yep.
No one's going to say, hey, you didn't try to pass him. Had Denny just ran the bottom and not tried to run Bubba tight in that corner.
He still might have won the race.
He still might have won the race. So I think that's where if I'm Bubba, I'm a little frustrated. Hey, just run that bottom line and try to beat me straight up to the finish line. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, no way Denny, you could see it in his face after the race. No way Denny wanted to finish second to Chase Elliott there. And good for Chase Elliott. We have talked so much this year about him just being consistent. He made moves. He had a fast race car, and that restart was.
He had those 4 tires on the restart too.
Yeah, it was a big difference for him. So good for Chase. But man, yeah, Denny, I think anybody who's frustrated is probably Denny more than everybody else because 1, he didn't win the race. 2, his teammate didn't win the race. 3, his car didn't win the race. 4, his manufacturer didn't win the race. So I think Denny probably got the worst end of everything this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Denny and, like you said, the Toyota overlords there, probably the least happiest among everyone. Although, like you said, Bell had right to be mad. Bubba had right to be mad. So interesting, difficult situation there as we head into the third of 3 playoff races in the round of 12. So, of course, that's this weekend at Charlotte. Before we talk Charlotte, let's talk about these playoff standings. We have Chase Elliott locked in and Ryan Blaney locked in. And at the cut line, Ross Chastain is currently 13 points behind Joey Logano. Now, If we also look just, for example, at Kyle Larson, he is 59 points ahead of Joey Logano. So he's essentially locked in. Kyle Larson is, and actually, Ross Chastain can't even catch him. So Kyle Larson locked in as well. The top of the standings here, Larson, Hamlin, they all feel safe. Christopher Bell, William Byron, and Elliott and Blaney are locked in. So it really comes down to Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, and then way further back is Bubba Wallace, right? He is 26 points behind Joey Logano, and then Tyler Reddick is 29 points behind Joey Logano, and Austin Cindric is in must-win mode completely.
Yeah, I mean, when we're looking at the standings, I feel like William Byron, Bell, Hamlin, Larson, plus 40 and above. I mean, they're all just going out saying, we need a clean race. A clean race, and they get through. A non-clean race, they might get through. So I think if you're Byron, Bell, Hamlin, Larson this weekend, you're hoping just for a clean race. How do I put myself in the position to have just a clean race? So I think if you're Briscoe, Logano, Chastain, your stage racing, point stage racing, it's really questionable whether or not Bubba and Tyler Reddick stage race. I feel like they're in must wins. I think they're too far back unless there's an early issue with like Logano or Chastain or Briscoe. But Austin Cindric, we know what he's doing. He's got a race for a win this weekend. There's no chance he's getting in on points. He needs. I mean, I guess there technically, mathematically, is a chance that he gets in on points, but let's be realistic for a second. Cindric has to win to get in. I think Bubba, Reddick, and Cindric all have to win to get in. I think they have too much of a point gap. But I think the biggest thing we're watching this weekend is, can Chase Briscoe run top 10 and kind of get through to the next round in 3 good tracks for him? And can Joey Logano show up at a road course? Or is Ross Chastain going to kind of beat out Joey Logano on points? And hey, there could be a winner down here. I think Tyler Reddick is very capable of winning. Cindric is a good road course racer. So I think it'd be a fun weekend in that aspect. I just wish it was at a different track. The Roval is not my favorite track.
Yeah, and real quick, just to correct my math there, it was 41 points Logano is behind Larson, and Ross is 54 behind Larson. So not technically safe for Larson, Bell, Hamlin, Byron, etc., but feeling pretty good. And, like you said, for what do you need to do to have a clean race? For Denny Hamlin, it might just be avoid Ty Gibbs. That's kind of a joke, but, don't need any payback Toyota on Toyota crime this week for those guys. I agree with you. Joey Logano, can he get it done at a road course, a Roval, or will Ross Chastain get it done? Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Austin Cindric probably have to win, barring some mayhem, which has happened at the Roval before. Let's be fair. There have been chaotic things. I remember Daniel Suarez early in a race, got in a wreck, and they were doing everything they could to scrape back a few spots. We've seen Kyle Larson literally wallet on the final turn of the Roval to try to make a playoff position there and get to the next round. So the Roval can still throw some twists and turns, no pun intended there, into these playoff standings. So we'll have to see how it shakes out. But let's talk about racing at the Charlotte Roval. Of course, Stevie, we've been at Charlotte earlier this year, but that was on the 1.5 mile oval. Now it's part of the oval and part of the infield road course. So talk about Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, I think if SMI hasn't put so much money into the Roval and the promotion of the Roval, we wouldn't be here for a road course. We'd be here for the oval with this car. But racing at Charlotte is great, and then racing at the Roval is, I mean, it has its moments. So it's a very unique racetrack now that we don't have like the Indy road course or like the Daytona road course. It's kind of its own animal. You have to be fast because you're going to be racing up on the high banks from turn 2 to 3, basically on the old track, like down the backstretch. And then you got to be good at braking because there's a lot of fast to slow points. So it's a really unique road course where it kind of mixes like pure raw speed plus really good braking. And that's why, I mean, if you look at the Roval results, that's why you see a guy like AJ Allmendinger just so good at this racetrack, because he's just so good at braking. And, that's why SVG is like, what, plus 100 or minus 100 to win this race, depending on the book you're looking at. Just so yeah, I mean, racing in the Roval is interesting. Like I said, it's not my favorite. I wish that we were here for the second oval race, but it's kind of a mix between who has raw speed and who's good at braking.
Yeah, I agree with that. And one thing I think that's interesting when you mention SVG, when you mention Allmendinger, first of all, shout outs to SVG for his first top 10 at an oval, and it was at, a mile and a half oval. And now we're at, a mile and a half oval that's chopped up and thrown a road course in the middle of it as well. So that car, SVG, has speed on the oval portions as well. And now he gets the benefit of, like you said, those hard braking zones. But also AJ Allmendinger, they've been really fast this year. Kaulig Racing has at some of these intermediate tracks. So, you add in the Roval aspect of it, the hard braking, like you said. And I think AJ Allmendinger is going to be a top contender once again. He wasn't quite as much a contender last year in this, race, but he still performed well enough. But, on the old Roval configuration, he just won everything. It seemed like every time he came here, only air quote, only finished sixth last year. But I think with the speed they've shown on intermediates this year, and the fact that, again, we're just at his bread and butter type track for the twisty turny part, AJ Allmendinger is going to be a big factor again. So any other thoughts here on the Roval? How are we using other comp tracks or other intangibles?
Yeah, I mean, I am going to comp the Roval to the Roval. I think
Yep.
that's the best comp. Look at practice, that kind of stuff. I mean, you could look at road course data from this season. I just wouldn't weigh it as much as like weighing like Sonoma to Watkins Glen or, Coda to Sonoma, like that kind of stuff. Like we're going to look at the 5 races on the road courses this year, and we're going to see that they're kind of dominated by the same few drivers. And, we're going to expect like those drivers to be good. But I think when you're looking at the Roval data, you're going to look at Roval data. Who's been good here with the next gen car, who's been good here overall. And the biggest intangible this weekend that you're going to be kind of paying attention to is the weather. There's been all kinds of weather reports already for this weekend, and that could throw a wrench into things too. Hopefully that, early week, like Monday, it looked like we were going to get some rain. It looks like it's going to be better now, but just kind of paying attention to that stuff. But yeah, I mean, again, we talk comps all the time and we try to find like unique angles sometimes, but for me, the Roval, I'll kind of mix a little bit of road course data, a little bit of 1.5 data, but really just kind of paying attention to the Roval data.
Absolutely. So, pay attention to the weather. Currently, I'm seeing like 20% chance of rain on Sunday. So, not really anything, but hey, if that 20% hits the track, right, then it can make things a little bit interesting as well. So let's dive into the bets that we have here for the Bank of America Roval 400. As always, we're going to give a pick in stage 1 as our shorter odds bet. Then we'll get a little bit longer with the odds in stage 2. Finally, we'll race through stage 3 and end up in victory lane with our combined bet. And we're going to throw the green flag on the Bank of America Roval 400 and fire up for stage 1. All right, stage 1, Stevie. We each have a top 10 bet on a driver who has initials CB.
Yeah, I like yours as well, but I'm going to go Chase Briscoe here, top 10, plus 130. I am a little concerned about, points racing for stages. That's why I'm not going like super aggressive with this bet, but we've seen a lot of speed this season from Chase Briscoe on road courses. I have him ranked like 7th in speed. He has the 4th best average finish on road courses this year. He's finished inside the top 10 in 3 of the 5 road courses this season. So just kind of playing the safe angle here on him. And then if we think back to how good he was at the Indy road course in subpar equipment, giving him JGR equipment on a track where you got to have speed plus braking, Chase Briscoe's a underrated road course racer. So if he can kind of give himself enough track position points wise to be there, I think top 10 is very doable for him. Like I said, I'm a little concerned about him staying out for stage points, but at the end of the day, I think that, even if he starts like in the 18 to 22 range in that long final stage, he'll still have the opportunity to get up there and finish inside the top 10 with his speed. So again, it's more of a safer bet. I think Briscoe has the ability to win this race, but I'm going to go top 10 at plus 130 and take the plus money here.
Yeah, with how fast he's been at road street courses this year, you don't necessarily need to sweat the strategy as much on him because he'll make it back up on speed. He'll pass cars and put himself in position for a top 10 finish. And that's the way you probably should play him, because he may be putting himself back in traffic with strategy just to grab some stage points, given he is a little bit more on the bubble there. So I agree with you. I think if you're playing Chase Briscoe, top 10 is probably the best way to play him. For my driver in stage 2, I am going to go to Chris Buescher. And I mean, it's just when you get plus money on Chris Buescher, he's plus 120 at Hard Rock, for example. When you get plus money on Chris Buescher at a road or street course, you kind of just have to take it. 3 of 5 road course races this year, top 10. 3 of the last 4 Rovals, top 10. And if you look just at Chris Buescher in the next gen era, it's all but 4 road course races or something that he's finished top 10. And we know he's going to be on the optimal strategy because they're not doing anything but racing for wins right now. So I think Chris Buescher, knowing he's going to be on that prime strategy, the strategy that'll get him the best shot of winning this race, top 10 finish, plus 120. I'm going to take that every time we come to a road course. When Chris Buescher absolutely just is guaranteed to be on the winning strategy.
Yeah, again, he's not racing for points. So we're trying to figure out who are these drivers not racing for points, and Buescher is one of those drivers that definitely up there for me as far as not racing for points. And even if you look at the overall standings, because they do get paid outside of points for the season. So the top 16 obviously make the most money, but then there's another tier where it's 17 to 20, 21 to 25, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, Chris Buescher is a bunch, he's I think it's 70. I looked earlier today. It was 70 or 70. Yeah. So he's so far ahead of Priest. So he's not points racing here. He's going to go out and try to win this race. So I think that this is a good spot for Buescher. I don't think any of these guys in this bottom tier are really going to be points racing. I think all of these guys, money wise, are all going to be going out there to try to win a race. I don't think there's not a huge gap from 17th to 20th in that aspect. So I think that everyone's going to kind of go out and try to win.
Yep, fully agree with that. So stage 1, Stevie has Chase Briscoe for a top 10 at plus 130. I have Chris Buescher for a top 10 at plus 120. So we'll throw the green and white checkered on stage 1, come in, get some fuel and some tires. But before we fire off for stage 2, of course, NFL is in full swing, and to get the most out of the award-winning Action app, you'll want to be an Action Pro subscriber, because only Pro subscribers get real-time pick alerts from experts like Stuckey, Chris Raybon, Brandon Anderson, and myself, plus our entire Action Network team. You can also access our pro projections powered by Sean Kerner and the predictive analytics team. So to celebrate football's return ahead of week 5, we got a special offer. Just go to actionnetwork.com/pro and get $20 off the annual price with the promo code POD20. So don't miss out on the best bets at the best prices. Visit actionnetwork.com/pro and use promo code POD20. That's POD20 to get $20 off of a year of Action Pro. All right, time for stage 2 here, Stevie. We're getting into some road course ringers. AJ Allmendinger, what do you got for him?
Yeah, I have a top 5 for him at plus 200. I think this is just the SVG effect on betting price in general. We look at SVG as the clear favorite to win this race, and I don't disagree with that. And I know you probably don't disagree with that either, but the market is definitely a little soft in some aspects. And we look at AJ, who has finished inside the top 5 in 2 of the 3 Rovals that he's run with the next gen car, including a win with a 3.7 average finish, ranks first in speed. And he was in the 3rd car for Colleague last year with SVG in this race in the 2nd car. So he had more speed than SVG in this race last season. So just, again, I don't necessarily need to bet him to win this race to feel like I'm getting good value. I'm going to take him for a top 5. I think if you want to, you could take a top 3. Mm-hmm. This might be AJ's last season. We don't know if he's going to retire or not. There's been speculation that he might be out of this car next year and retire, and we might see somebody else in this car. But if this is probably his best chance to win a race. They're going to be on the optimal strategy to try to win this race. He has the speed at this racetrack. So I'm all for taking a lot of AJ shots this weekend, because I think this is the one that he has circled if he is going to retire this year. Go out and win, and then in victory lane say, this is it for me. So I love this spot for AJ, and I hope he comes back next year because I've seen a lot of really good things from AJ this year. So I hope that he wants to do this full time at least one more year. But yeah, AJ top 5 plus 200.
Yeah, I mean, he's really performed this year. It's been a fantastic year in that car for AJ Allmendinger when you look at, point standings and things like that. So top 10s, top 5s even. So, I mean, he got a 5th place at Darlington. That's for a college car. That's fantastic, right? So, and that was on pure speed too. It wasn't like a fluky top 5. I mean, he ran incredibly well there. But as far as the Roval is concerned, I agree with you. I love AJ Allmendinger top 5 here. I'm going to be on this with you, Stevie, myself. And I like that top 3 sprinkle as well. So AJ Allmendinger, top 5, 2-1 for Stevie is his stage 2 pick. For my stage 2 pick, I'm going to go to another top 5 bet. And the good thing is we only have to hit one of these 2 to be profitable. And there's a chance we could hit both. But I'm going to take Chase Elliott for a top 5. This past week's winner, right? Chase Elliott has the freedom to go and race however he wants by getting that win at Kansas. He's freed up to be on the optimal strategy, to go for another win, to get 5 more playoff points. That would be the optimal thing for him to do for his playoff chances of making it to Phoenix and then contending for a championship title. And we know how good of a road course racer Chase Elliott is. Yeah, he hasn't won in the next gen car at a road course, but he has definitely come close. And if you look at him this year, he's performed incredibly well at road courses. 4th at Coda, and then we got 3rd at Mexico City. Chicago street course wasn't amazing, but then 3rd at Sonoma and a rough day at the Glen. So 3 out of 5, he finished inside the top, not only 5, but top 4. And then, Charlotte Roval has been a good track for Chase Elliott as well. Finished 5th last year. In 2022, he finished 20th, but he led the most laps. So unfortunate result there. And he won the Roval in 2020. So, and 2019, right? But when we go back into the older generation cars, so he's getting multi-time winner here at the Roval. Now, little bit different configuration with that more hairpin kind of turn there to get onto the oval portion of the track. But for most of the track, it's kind of the same. So Chase Elliott, a top 5 finish. I love this one as well, knowing he'll be on whatever strategy he wants to take.
The only concern that I have, and I'm just going to throw one concern, and I mean it is a slight concern, is if they are an opportunity to win a stage, I wouldn't be shocked if they take the stage win and take the playoff point for next round. The only thing I will say about that is, like, we can sit here and speculate all we want, but no one knows what they're going to do because Alan does whatever he wants. And he is one of the hardest crew chiefs to figure out. I feel like he's a great crew chief. They set up the car. They always have speed, but he's probably let 10 to 15 races slip in his career where he probably had the best car and didn't win. So no clue what to expect from Alan. But yeah, I mean, that's the only concern that I'll say with Chase is if they do have the opportunity to win a stage, they might take the playoff point. But if they have a race-winning car, 5 playoff points is a lot better than 1. So I could see them taking some shots here as well. So, but yeah, I mean, that's just my only concern on Chase Elliott. Same kind of the concern that I had.
I'm not worried about it because
maybe it's Chase and Chase, right? We're both worried about Elliott and Briscoe. Yeah.
He's fast. I don't care. He's fast. Yep. And, I mean, maybe they'll try to grab a stage point, but what if they're not in position to grab a stage point?
Right.
Then, they'll be on the optimal strategy, flipping stages and stuff. So, I love it. I really like Chase Elliott this weekend because he's freed up from the shackles of, do I need a points race or not? He can go for the win. And maybe they go for a stage point. That's fine. Doesn't mean he can't finish top 5, but that's why we also have AJ Allmendinger for top 5. We just need to hit one of the 2. But, if something happens to Dinger, that opens up an extra spot in the top 5 as well. So, I don't know. I really like this. I love the fact that Chase Elliott is freed from any kind of points racing burden here and gets to just race free and carefree and do whatever he wants. So Chase Elliott, top 5, +2. Plus, I like the number. +250 at Hard Rock is just a great price. So that's why I'm going with that as well. So stage 2, Stevie has AJ Allmendinger for a top 5 finish at 2-1. Chase Elliott, top 5 for me at +250. So that takes us to the end of stage 2. We'll drive through stage 3, take the checkered flag, end up in victory lane. And Stevie, we talked about this one for a brief moment, but you and I came together and decided we like this. What do we got for victory lane?
Yeah, first time we ever saw Ty Gibbs was in the Xfinity Series, kind of out of nowhere, and he just went out and dominated the Daytona road course. And it was again, it's JGR equipment, but like it was his first Xfinity race. He won his first Xfinity race with so much speed. He is so good on road courses. He just, yeah, he's been really impressive just on road courses in general. So we're going to take the safer route here and go Ty Gibbs top 10 plus 130. We look at his speed here. He was really fast in the 2023 race, which was a really good sign because that's closer where he was at this year than last year. So started the season kind of slow, but we've seen a lot of really good things from Ty Gibbs here down the stretch. I think he wins his first race next year, if not this weekend. So yeah, Ty Gibbs top 10. Again, we're just getting good numbers because of the SVG effect. You can't really look at what happened last year at this race because he wrecked or something. He had an issue or something. I can't remember.
Engine failure.
Yeah, engine issue. But so, yeah, we're going to go to Ty Gibbs for a top 10. And he's been, 11th place car on road courses this year, which is a really good sign at plus 130.
Yeah, finished second at Chicago Street Course, finished 7th at Sonoma, 11th at Mexico City. So he's been right on the border of some great, good to great road course results. Second is a great result. It was only behind SVG. So he's performing well. 2nd, 7th, and 11th. And then he had, 2 clunkers. Glenn finished 33rd. Coda finished 34th. But when he's not having clunkers, he's right inside that top 10 on road and street courses. So Ty Gibbs, top 10 finish, plus 130 at Hard Rock is our victory lane pick. And that is going to do it for us. Thanks for listening to the Bank of America Roval 400 episode of Running Hot, Action Network's Motorsports Betting Podcast. If you'd like to tail some of the bets we discussed today, look for the quick flip link in the podcast and video description, or go to actionnetwork.com/bet now. We'll be back next week to talk bets for the South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. On behalf of my co-host, Stephen Young, thanks again for listening. We'll see you back here next week on Running Hot from Action Network.